Have you noticed that groceries, rent, gas, insurance, even fast food are way more expensive than just a few years ago? You're not imagining it. Americans across the country are asking the same question: why does my money not go as far anymore? In this video, we're breaking down exactly why everything is so expensive in America right now, what forces are driving prices up, and, most importantly, what you can do to survive this high-cost economy. Stay till the end, because we'll also talk about what's likely to happen next. Let's start with the word everyone keeps hearing: inflation. Inflation means that the value of money goes down while prices go up. In simple terms, your dollar buys less than it used to. Over the last few years, inflation in the US hit levels not seen in decades. Even though inflation has slowed down recently, prices almost never go back down. So when inflation spikes, food prices rise, rent increases, gas gets expensive, and utilities cost more. And even when inflation cools, those higher prices stay. That's why Americans feel poorer, even if they're earning the same salary. It's not about what's in your bank account, it's about what that money can actually buy you day to day. And right now, the answer is a lot less. Housing is one of the biggest reasons everything feels unaffordable. Here's what's happening. Home prices exploded during and after the pandemic, creating a frenzy in the real estate market. Then, mortgage rates doubled and even tripled, making the dream of home ownership feel impossible for many. As a result, more people were forced to rent, and landlords knew it. Rent increased faster than wages in most US cities. Millions of Americans are now spending 30 to 50% of their income on rent alone. That's a massive chunk of your paycheck gone before you even think about food or gas. When housing eats up your paycheck, you spend less on food, you save less, and you rely more on credit cards just to get by. High housing costs don't just hurt renters, they push prices up across the entire economy because when people have less disposable income, businesses have to adjust. Now let's talk about the grocery store. Have you seen your grocery bills lately? It's shocking. Food prices are up for a few key reasons. Higher fuel costs mean it's more expensive to transport food from the farm to the store. Labour shortages mean farms and processing plants have to pay more to find workers. Climate issues like droughts and floods are affecting crop yields, reducing supply and driving up prices. And increased transportation costs for everything from trucks to shipping containers add another layer of expense. Restaurants are feeling the pain too. They're paying more for ingredients, for workers, and for their own rent and utilities. So they have no choice but to pass those costs on to you. That is why even fast food meals now cost $12 to $18 for one person in many states. A quick lunch isn't so cheap anymore. Energy affects everything. When gas prices rise, it's not just about the pain at the pump. Shipping costs go up for every single product you buy. Food costs increase because farming equipment and delivery trucks run on fuel. Airline tickets get more expensive. And of course, your own utility bills climb. But it's not just gasoline. Electricity, natural gas and water bills are also rising. Why? Because the infrastructure needed to deliver these services, power plants, pipelines and water treatment facilities, cost more to build and maintain. Energy companies themselves face higher expenses, and the demand for energy continues to increase as our population grows. So even if you don't drive much, energy prices still hit your wallet indirectly, baked into the price of nearly every good and service. To fight that runaway inflation we talked about earlier, the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States, raised interest rates. This is their main tool for cooling down the economy. And it did help slow inflation, but it created a whole new set of problems for the average person. Now, credit card interest rates are near record highs. If you carry a balance, you're paying a fortune in interest. Auto loans cost more, making it tougher to afford a reliable car. Personal loans are more expensive, and small businesses are forced to raise their prices to survive because their own borrowing costs have gone up. Many Americans are now using credit cards just to afford basics like groceries and gas. This creates a dangerous cycle. It leads to more debt, higher minimum payments that eat into your budget, and long-term financial stress that can feel overwhelming. Here's the painful truth that ties all of this together. Even though wages have gone up for many people, they haven't increased fast enough to match these rising costs. This is the core of the problem. Think about it. When prices for housing, food, and gas go up 20 to 30% over a few years, but your salary only goes up 5 to 8%, you're falling behind. You are effectively getting a pay cut in terms of your real purchasing power. That's why so many middle-class Americans feel squeezed. You might be working harder than ever, but your money just doesn't stretch as far. This is also why side hustles, second jobs, and gig work are exploding in popularity. People are desperately trying to close that gap between their income and their expenses. Another factor contributing to this high-cost environment is the massive amount of government spending over the last few years. Stimulus programs, relief packages, and emergency spending were crucial for helping people and businesses survive the economic shutdown. However, injecting trillions of dollars into the economy also increased the money supply, which is a classic recipe for fueling inflation. More dollars chasing the same amount of goods means prices go up. At the same time, we're living in a more uncertain world. Global conflicts, like the war in Ukraine, disrupt supply chains for things like grain and energy. Trade disruptions with major partners create shortages and increase costs. And general political uncertainty, both at home and abroad, makes businesses hesitant to invest, which can slow down economic growth and contribute to instability. All these big-picture forces add to the higher costs we all feel. So this is the question everyone asks: will prices ever go down? The honest answer is, probably not. Some prices, like for used cars or maybe gasoline, may fluctuate and stabilise. Inflation may continue to slow down from its peak, but most prices will not return to pre-pandemic levels. Things like rent, menu prices, and the cost of services rarely, if ever, go back down in a meaningful way. The new reality is a higher-cost America. That means we, as individuals, must adapt. We can't just wait for prices to magically drop back to what they were a few years ago. The strategy has to change from waiting to acting. So, what can you do right now? How do you survive and even thrive in this expensive economy? First, you have to track your spending aggressively. You need to know exactly where every dollar is going. Use an app or a simple spreadsheet. Second, focus on reducing high-interest debt, especially credit card debt. It's like an anchor dragging you down. Third, build your emergency savings, even if it's just a little at a time. Having a cushion is critical. Fourth, look for ways to increase your income skills. In a high-cost world, your earning power is your best defense. Fifth, use credit wisely. Avoid taking on new debt for non-essential purchases. And finally, invest for the long term to protect your money against inflation. The system may be expensive, but being informed gives you power. If this video helped you understand why everything is expensive in America right now, hit that like button, subscribe for more personal finance breakdowns, and share this with someone who feels the same pressure. Because understanding money is no longer optional, it's survival.